Welcome to today's quantum adventure with me, Brooke Randvik. I am here to share an Astral Travel experience. This is just like my playground, okay? This playlist of my quantum adventures, I just get to come on and share some things that you just can't make up, okay? And maybe you could make up, but the reality for me is it's a whole different world out there and in the cosmos, okay? So you will hear me talk about astral travel all the time. You'll hear me talk about the ascended masters and all right, I'm gonna get into this story, okay? I just have to get in the right state. I am preparing for my Sexy and Alive 5-day challenge. I'm so excited about it. So much is going to go into that. And something fun. Something fun happened to me. Okay. So, one of the times where I choose to take full advantage of a higher level, like energetically, is when I am getting it on with my husband. And okay, so here's the thing. I don't discuss these things with him. It's just is what it is. This is the way it rolls, okay? So doing a lot of third eye work, and so it's so much of an embodied experience. It's not even just making love. It is out of this world, intentionally, with power, presence, and love, and the knowledge of the ability to be able to utilize this other realm, these other parts of us. And this does come down to the more DNA you unlock, the more you can start to comprehend this, and your mind doesn't get all like, whoa, that's crazy. I would never tell that story. And so let's get into the story. So I'm like, okay, and I don't plan this. It's just like I get in this state and I'm like, this is great. This is interesting. Okay. Ooh, took our third eyes off of each other and I'm like, nope, need that. Get that back on there. I'm like, all right. Hey, do you want to go play in the cosmos? And I'm literally having this conversation with my higher self and my husband's higher self. They're having this conversation. I can't talk for him, but when you learn how the masculine and feminine to create the one, tapping into Sophia, the feminine Christ consciousness, like the ultimate of ultimate, you can start to understand on this physical level what that means to be one. Once you comprehend the energies of the masculine energy, the energy of the inner child, the energy of the feminine, there are different energies that are going on within every one of us, okay? And what they look like is mostly on a low vibe and they're completely disconnected from each other. And so that leads to an all-out war within yourself. And that's why you would want to work on your masculine, your feminine, your inner child, so you can like break free from the war within yourself. And so we're like, you want to go play in the costume? We grab his hand and we're just like flying around, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I was like, hey, do you want to go to Mount Shasta? I know somebody who can bring us there. I know someone who has a chamber in Mount Shasta. Do you want to go? Like, of course, who would want to go? Like, okay, Mother Mary, come, do your magic on this relationship. Heal and do literally your work on our fractal lines. And so she did. And she was just in the background doing her work, and we go into, we take a ship, not a ship, spaceship, I don't know, saucer looking thing, the gravitron looking thing, and we go to her chamber in Mount Shasta. And, you know, just like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, great. Thank you. You know, really appreciate this. And I feel so honored to be able to, you know, have the guidance and the assistance for you doing the work on this relationship that only Mother Mary could do. And then all of a sudden it was like Orion. And I'm like, Orion, guess we're going to Orion. And I'm like, this is interesting. And then I believe like I was on the bottom. And as I'm in Orion, they're like, no, we need the back of your third eye. We have some information that we need to install in you. And I was like, okay, let's go. All right. And I'm like, the next day I'm like, I got to figure out Orion. I got to figure out what the heck, like what it is. What am I supposed to be learning? And then what I was told was, you don't have to figure anything out. They installed this shit in you. You know there's nothing to figure out. And so as I go about my day that day, I had an initiation. I had a full hour with multiple ascended masters, but the main one was White Buffalo Woman. And in this experience with White Buffalo Woman, it was all about Mount Shasta. And at the end of this experience, because I'm having the chills right now, at the end of this experience with White Buffalo Woman in Mount Shasta, she hands me over to the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Uriel, and definitely, you know, the Archangel Raphael's dragons. And then so she says, it's time. And what I get from it, because I was kind of already leading up to this, so maybe in your mind you could say I created this experience all in my imagination. Great, awesome, so fucking what? But this is how I use my guidance, due to I can connect with my highest self, my highest guidance, my personal journey, my way through fantasy, through things like goddesses and astral travel and things like that. So that may not be your way, but that is my way, and this is when I find my answers. And this was the moment that she says, it's time. And what is it time for? It is time for me to step up and be in my masculine, and not in because I've worked on the inner child extremely closely, and it was not pretty. A whole month of dark night of my soul that equated to at least a year of healing in my life that, you know, I set out to do through self-love alchemization and certain tools and things to be able to do that type of healing. And I work for mankind. I work for the collective. Now, you might not be there yet where that's a desire for you, but it's a desire for me to work on the collective consciousness, not just on my family. Like, I think big, okay? And I was always like, I don't have an imagination. Oh my God, this is horrible. My kids don't even have imagination because I don't have an imagination. And I even got a book on learning how to have an imagination. So you cannot, like, you don't know what you don't know. And of course, when I step back and reflect, my whole life was manifested due to what I didn't think was an imagination, but what I thought was like true dreaming of like what could be, but yet it was so real to me. Like, of course it's going to happen. And of course those things did happen when I had that mindset. Okay, I'm going to find a husband. Set out to find a husband when I was 16. Right away. I didn't think about it. I knew I would find one. Been dreaming about it my whole life, but and so this is like actually fairly new for me, and this is why I love this outlet, because I can express things that should not be kept in someone. No one should have to keep this up to themselves, because as you can hear me share this story, as I am going through the telling of the story, I have a full-on picture, like, of course this happened. And how could it be so detailed? And how could I remember it bit by bit, more than my real life? I remember this. And it didn't come from me. It came from the state that I was in, a full Kundalini, full tantric, full open, alive, awake, and sharing an experience, so that you don't just have one person's DNA, you have two people's DNA who have been together for bajillions of years, and so this is a new experience as well, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And really so I sat down to do my 1-page playbook. And this is channeled. And this is how can I heal a year in a month, okay? Who am I going to call in? Who is going to guide me? Who is going to assist me? Well, as White Buffalo handed me over to the masculine energies, in my head, in my mind, that's in who I see as masculine guidance. And so of course that's who she would hand me over to. And now I get to play in the realm of masculine in a new sense, in an evolved sense, in a sense that I'm not in the low vibe ego. But so I sit down to write my 1-page playbook, and I have a lot of these things already sketched out from November, and it's February. I'm working on March's 1-page playbook, and I'm like, my guides, Syrian lions. I was like, okay, well, that didn't take long. Syrian lions. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I better go look back and see what my notes are, because I was in a good state when I created the year plan. And I was like, of course, what's there? Syrian lions and Sukhmet. And now what Sukhmet is going to assist me with, now the Syrian lions are going to help me with opening my eyes, with seeing what I don't see, with feeling how I may, and when you're in your masculine, you know, you're just a little tough and you don't have to feel that way. Okay. So that's my rap sheet, right? So I'm supposed to, the Syrian lions help me open my eye. They work on a little area right here in my brain, and it's kind of like at an angle, and they will not discuss much about that. But so then Sukhmet, what does she do? She's like, okay, Brooke, I'm going to take care of your nervous system, because as we step into the masculine, that is also going to rev up the reptilian brain. And the reptilian brain is the safety part of us. The reptilian brain is like the masculine that's going to keep us safe. And I want that. I want that. But I want the masculine that's going to keep us safe, knowing that who is us, the queen and the inner child, and there's sensitivity and love and a certain energy that goes along with that, versus the hierarchy of the masculine energy, which is my way or no way. Okay. And so, very, personally, very, egocentric in my masculine, literally my whole life, probably up until 2 years ago. Well, probably up until right now, I'm telling you. But and I love that part of me. I've been a fighter. I've gotten in multiple fights in my life. I remember one of the last fights I got in was at the bar, and I was like, yeah, bitch. And also I was like, I'm a fucking lion. I'm a fucking lion. Like, I dare you to fuck with me. And whatever happened. But like, I stepped away from that, being like, I heard myself saying, why does this always happen to me? Why is it me? Why do these women always want to fight me? And then I was gifted from whoever, my guidance, my higher self, a book called, it's a brain book by Dr. Caroline something. And it just literally talked about like my ancestors and how I get to take that opportunity to break this cycle, and with the strength, how strong my ego was, that was why I was attracting things like that. And I don't know, I've gotten in a couple fights. You mess with my husband, I swear to God. Oh my God, I just like telling it all, right? So what that does for me is, now I have Suckmit. She's going to work on that part so I don't get drugged back into that ego, that higher than ego, because I am working on creating synergy. That's my life's work. And so of course those would be the scenarios that would be part of my journey to go through and grow through. Okay? And at least I have the guidance to be able to see that and to do that. And so as I'm stepping back into the masculine, my nervous system is what is going to drive my behavior. And the nervous system is, yes, it starts in the brain on the beliefs and the conditioning, but the brain sends a message to thy solar plexus, and that's the emotional system. And the emotional system and the reptilian brain have this conversation together, and they're going to do what they can to block your emotions and keep you safe. Okay? And so that's Suckmit's job to really do the rewiring in that moment when Goddess Suckmit, when that occurs in my physiology. And this has been a diligent work for me with my nervous system, with like debilitating anxiety. And believe me, I create scenarios where I get through anxiety so I don't have it anymore. And then I go to do something new and I'm like, oh, hang on, it's still here. Okay. And that's a good thing, because anxiety is actually what Suckmit tells me is how we're supposed to feel. And we think it's bad, but we're just not developed enough to be able to handle that certain type of high vibe energy that we go, and our breath gets constricted. And so what I learned from my schooling was like the first thing that I learned, which really helped me with, since I had such bad anxiety when I started school, I went to the Health Coach Institute, was anxiety is excitement without breath. Well, I can't be excited because that gives me anxiety. So the excitement itself, instead of having anxiety, when I get excited, my breath gets constricted, and that creates anxiety. And that also creates things like issues like, being afraid of success and unable to celebrate and things like that. And so those are things that I'm also working on, because the things I'm working on this month need masculine energy. But the energy type from the masculine energy needs to be at a higher frequency versus the low vibe frequency that is the low vibe energy of the reptilian brain. Now, I want to rewire the reptilian brain to be a safe spot, but also be a lot smarter in knowing that, oh, we are safe. Oh, that's old news back in like hunting days when we wouldn't survive if we didn't have other people, or our life depended on our reptilian brain to keep us alive. And unfortunately, we're still living off of that. But with that being said, if you want to be part of my 5 days sexy and alive challenge, this is going to be fucking amazing. I'm so excited. I'm also powering through some of the like stereotypes that have good science behind them about a projector, but I'm also, because I am a projector, I'm also here to find ways to rebel against some of that, not in a bad way, but in a creation way, an inventive way, and that's part of my life as well. And how much I've changed is because of knowing that I can't find it out there anymore. Nothing is out there for me. And yet I'm a projector and I need others' energies. And so that is where I'm stepping into, one, my masculine, two, the suckment to work on my nervous system. And so let's close out. Yes, sexy is masculine. Sexy is very masculine. You would think that it's feminine, but when you're in your feminine too long, like, you get to be like frumpy. Okay? Feminine is sensual, but masculine, that is sexy. And that is me. And if I am not feeling sexy, then I am feeling off. And so maybe that is you, or maybe there's something that needs to be brought out of you that is desiring some attention, some love. Okay, so the biggest thing that is coming up for me is to invite you guys to my tap into any of my trainings on the Great Change, or my Truth Telling Time Tuesdays, where I really talk a lot about working with DNA on the DNA level, and highly recommend getting into a deep dive session with me to do some deep healing with your masculine, with your feminine, with your inner child, with your body legacy, and your limiting, not even limiting beliefs, but your old conditioned beliefs that are no longer serving you for what it is that your next level of evolution or whatever. And that's going to start in your DNA, and it actually starts to get really simple. But if you have your mind, it will tell you that it is not simple. So let me know if you have any questions, and like, subscribe. I don't fucking care. No, I do, really. But then I don't. But then people who say I don't care actually really care. So there's a paradox for you. All right, bye.